Hi, this is Ryan Beebe from the band Goalkeeper. I am the singer and bassist, and we are a three-piece pop punk band from the Philadelphia area. And our new album, I Wish I Met You Sooner, comes out October 28th.
So I wanted to talk to you about your new album, I Wish I Met You Sooner. Is there anything about the album that you can tell us that you have not yet told anybody else on this planet?
Yeah, actually, this is the first time we are having like any kind of electronic instrument on a track in Goalkeeper history. So that's really exciting.
So the album cover is it's a guy and a girl dancing on what looks like a boardwalk in a tropical area. How did the band
Mhm.
decide on this concept for the album cover?
So the line "I wish I met you sooner" comes from our song "Sooner," which is out right now, and it was originally inspired because I grew up on a beach town, and the beach town I grew up in a beach town south of Atlantic City, New Jersey, and so I would participate every summer in the rigmarole, vacationers coming down, and the whole song is kind of about summer love and that kind of a thing, and so we ended up kind of taking that theme and running with it through the whole album. And really, the whole album is kind of the ups and downs of relationships and summer love and stuff like that. So when we were trying to find, art to go along with it, I live now in a short town that has a boardwalk that has streetlights like that. And I was just walking there one night. I was like, this is the exact aesthetic that I think of whenever I think of like this album. And so we talked to a few different artists, and Shaka was the one that we ended up using. He came back, gave us some really cool stuff. Love his illustrative art. I'm also a big doo-wop fan, so that kind of like retro kind of styling, was a big part of the aesthetic for the album. And so that's generally where we came up with the idea for it.
Sooner is this really cool song about summer love. Is that what inspired not only the video for the song but also the album title?
Yep. Yeah. And like I was saying about the album art, like I grew up in a short town seeing it and experiencing it on like almost, all the time. So like it was something that was very close to me, and it was something that I really wanted to try to write about on this album.
So one thing I wanted to ask was how hard was it to get Cody and his drum kit into that van?
Took us a couple tries, but Cody's like a cat. He can fit into anything, And so once we got it all set up, he was locked in there. But I think it was worth all the time and preparation it took to get him in there.
When you went into the studio to start recording I Wish I Met You Sooner, how many songs did you have already written?
So we wrote like between 13 and 15 songs, and 10 made the cut. Some of the songs we didn't have, like, so we did the recording in two different sessions. The first session, we did the ones that we knew were going to make the record, and then the last section was about like weaning things out if we didn't think it was going to make it. So a few of them we did write later on that we like because we just didn't feel like we had strong enough stuff to put on the record. So, but generally we went in, I'd say, with like 12 to 13 in the beginning, and I think we ended up writing like 15-ish songs throughout the whole process, and ended up with 10.
How long did it take to produce the album?
I mean, we actually started writing some of the music the time that our previous album, Life in Slow Motion, came out. So songs like Sooner and Car Wreck that are out right now, they actually were partially written or in the beginning stages of the writing process when we were releasing Life in Slow Motion. So, I mean, probably like if you count from that point, about 2 years. But like last year we went into the studio I think the first part was in July 2021, which, yeah, and then we finished it up in December of 2021. And so from that point, maybe like a year and a half ish. But yeah, between a year and a half and 2 years.
Did the pandemic affect things at all for you guys?
So that's a very good question because this album is actually a direct. Um, this album is actually a direct result of the pandemic. So we put out our album Life in Slow Motion in July, September 2020, which was like kind of right in the middle of it. You know, obviously everything shut down in March, but we were lucky enough to get all the recording for that album done right before everything shut down. And so once everything shut down and we couldn't play shows, we didn't know when we were going to play another show. I think it ended up being like July or June of 2021 that we played our first show back, which was a lot earlier than other people's. But we ended up saying to ourselves like live shows are a big part of our brand or our thing. So what are we going to do instead? Like, and we all decided collectively to work hard on this new album. So we went right back. So every band practice, instead of practicing the old stuff, we were trying to write new stuff because, like I said, couldn't play shows, so we might as well do the only other productive thing and write music. And so yeah, actually, I Wish I Met You Sooner, our new album, is actually a direct result of the pandemic because instead of, like I said, instead of like chilling and waiting for it all to be over, we decided to work hard and try to make some awesome music.
What are some of the other songs that may have music videos made off of I Met You Sooner?
Can you repeat that question?
What other songs does the band plan to make music videos for off of I Wish I Met You Sooner?
So right now we have Sooner and Car Wreck just came out. So those are the first two. We're going to be doing at least one more music video for a song called Lost Reality that will be coming out with the rest of the album. And I think there's one other song that is actually the electronic music song that we might do something for, but that we haven't quite decided on that yet.
What are some of the bass players that you admire?
Mark Hoppus is a big one. Mike Herrera, Mike Dirnt. They're all like some of the but I mean, especially Mark Hoppus. He was really my guiding light as far as like what's cool and what's not throughout high school. And between him and Mike Dirnt, that's mostly where I get a lot of my influence for playing bass.
What are your favorite songs to play in concert, or some of your favorite songs?
Well, I always love playing our most popular song, "Sunshine." That was just a fun one to play. There's a few on this new record that I'm really looking forward to play because the bass is like a lot more intricate. I do a few more like fun things on it. But as far as our current set, probably actually Graveyard. Our song Graveyard's a lot of fun. I actually wrote that one based off of a Twilight Zone episode. And so whenever I play it, I kind of think of that, and it's really fun.
Do you see the music industry changing into a business where artists only release songs as singles and albums more or less go the way of the dinosaur?
I think right now you're going to see more of it, but I do believe that there will be a time where artists will be able to do more longer form projects and it will be accepted. And my basis for that opinion is, what Taylor Swift was able to do with her album and the 10-minute version of oh my gosh, my girlfriend would kill me for forgetting this song. Uh, but yeah, like her 10-minute version. I really do think that down the line there will be room for like a rock opera type album or like some kind of cohesive concept album. I just think somebody needs to do it first. because like you also see with podcasts, like a lot of people will listen to a full podcast. Like imagine a band puts together an album that's like a full concept from start to finish, and it gets released, on Spotify as well as maybe Netflix, like with like a visual attached to it. But I think it just depends on, and I think also some artists are starting to do that. Like I think I remember watching Olivia Rodrigo did a documentary alongside of like her record, release, and it was kind of like a visualizer of each song with like kind of commentary and like stuff like that. So I do think that eventually you're going to get to the point where more long form stuff comes back. But right now, and the way it is, I think singles are going to be the way to go. And like, I don't think that's necessarily a bad thing, especially because I think, like I said, artists will come back around to doing full albums in the future. It just needs to be marketed the right way.
Do you see a Goalkeeper possibly releasing a live album in the future?
I would love to do that. There's a few venues that we thought about doing something like that, um, but eventually I would really, really like to do that. So yes,
Can you describe the Goalkeeper concert experience to us using 5 or less words?
mm, a whole lot of fun.
Our last question, where do you see Goalkeeper 5 years from now?
Hopefully, touring with Blink 182. That would be really fun.
Well, they
But if not doing that, our long term goals are to play the biggest shows we possibly can. My number one festival that's in the back of my mind would be Firefly, uh, closely followed by Riot Fest. So playing larger festival slots, or headlining and selling out the local football arena. So we're based in Philadelphia, so that would be Lincoln Financial Field. It'd be so sick to be able to sell out that room or that field. So those are the long term goals where I hope we end up in 5 years.
So to wrap everything up, the name of the album is I Wish I Met You Sooner. It's set to drop on October 28th, 2022. Is there anything else you can tell us about the album or you want to tell us about the album?
This album is the result of a lot of hard work that we've put in over the last 2 years, and um, we are all extremely excited to share with everybody. Like between like I think that some of these songs are some of the best we've ever written, and I think that um, anybody who's a classic pop punk fan will immediately glom onto this.
Ryan, thank you so very much for your time. I wish you and Goalkeeper much success.
Mike, thank you so much for having me. I really appreciate it.
You bet.
This has been a Need 406 presentation.